Hey guys, so I have been thinking about building my blog for a long time, but since taking a lot of time to deploy OpenStack and having Kubernetes running, I see that I would rather just deploy my blog using WordPress in one of the LXC container. So you can see here I have an Juju Mass LXC container here. So I think I can install another one and use it as my blogging platform. But to keep it simple, I will just create a VM and then the whole thing will be know added here. So I was looking up for master form. So master form is a way I can use to creating my KVM. So I'm not really focusing on all the items, but the only item I was thinking of is VM host. So you can think of this one, a VM host, and then you can think of a VM host machine. So I thinking more about the KVM host, yeah. So that's my thing to do, right? I want to deploy a WordPress using Terraform or Ansible. Either way, as long as it's automated, then it's just fine. So I will do everything using Terraform for sure. I'm not sure if I can use Docker, Terraform, or something like that, to deploy things upstream. So yeah, so the idea is that if I can run this Docker Terraform upstream, inside and deploy this container upstream inside an LXC container, and that would be nice. Yeah. So let me just do one thing. I want to initiate this resource first. So we can see here, I can try to use an WordPress. Maybe I will just create another, not Kubesphere. I think I try Kubesphere and I have some success with it. Just LSD need some working. So let me try again with mass, because the mass machine is what I tried to do earlier, but I was failing to do that. So let me just create another directory here called WordPress, and I will create an repeat first, and then I can create some code a directory called WordPress. No, sorry, Terraform. And in this Terraform, I can create version.tf, paste this thing in. So to access this resource, you actually need to add some credential here. So let me just think about that for a second. How can I? So this was published a year ago, so I'm not sure if I can actually. Yeah, WordPress is #1 already, so you cannot think twice about that. So first, my idea is that you apply this Terraform, and then you can apply the older Terraform, which is the Docker Terraform. So let me just try to use mass Terraform in official documentation first, and instead of wasting time on other things. So to have this source here, you can try this one, and to provide that you need some API key for sure. So just add an API key here. So my API key will be I will have one of them here. Probably I can generate an Terraform API key and just copy it to here. Okay, so I can just put in my IP addresses. So the second thing I want to add is obviously the main.tf, which I can add my resource there. So we can think it of like creating a VM or something like that. So I focus a lot more in the VM. I don't care about the network and all the stuff. So there's one thing I would add, by the way, which is the plain.tf. So let me just copy this plain.tf here, and the workspace will, as you already know, will be just mass, for the backend, yeah, I need some backend as well. So this is backend, so you probably want to make sure you have the backend properly added here, right below the required providers. Okay. Okay, so now the second thing is I just copy the code all the time, so you can see that I adding something here, Okay, so I need to have some adjustment in terms of space. Okay, so the next thing, you guys already know that I wish they have some documentation. Okay, they have the provider here, but it's inside this guy. So what I can try to do now is actually go to one of the documentation they have for the docs. So we have the resource here. That's good enough. So I'm care more about the VM host machine. So you can think of like okay, VM, something like that. So I will just need to create one VM, and the VM host ID will be, as you probably know, let me just, the VM host will be here. Yeah, so instead of doing this one, I can try to go to the resource, and I have something called the data source here. So okay, that's all they have, so that's fine. So let me just go to resource and go to VM host machine on our time. So I think we need to focus on the host name and so on. So I think The host name will be just WordPress account, and then we have the memory, we have the network interface, and we can think of network interface. So the WordPress, I will make it statically. Yeah. So I'm not sure about the data source. Let me just go back here for a second. Go to the data source and go to the subnet, because we are looking for the data, right? Yeah, so I will just retrieve some of the fabric and then the VLAN, because that's what we need, right? We probably need to make sure we using the correct VLAN. So if I go here, if I go to the mask and I check for the subnet, you see that there's a fabric 20, which I don't really give a shit about. I forgot more about the default fabric here. So yeah, so we can just get it and okay, so the VLAN 0, okay, that's fine. That's doesn't matter to me, because the ID is 0. So if I go back here and I actually put in the VLAN, I think that will be just fine. Okay, right? And what I can get from this VLAN is basically I think the ID probably, or the name. It doesn't mention about the name or something, but I think it should be the name or something. The subnet area will be, I don't know, I will just go with not sure. Do I have to make this a bit this complex or something? I think it doesn't require to be that complex, right? But we are trying to make things a bit easy for all of us. So I think the subnet will require some CRDR. Maybe I don't care about subnet. I think I care more about the CRDR, and that's it. So yeah, so the fabric is the first, and then we have the CRDR, and then we have the subnet name. So I think the subnet we can just copy this one. So this one probably not being used. Okay, the storage. I'm not sure about storage. Do we actually care about storage? Okay, we do have the pool, the zone. Oh no, I think it's zone. We have only one zone, right? Default zone, and what else we have? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The zone, and then we have the pool, maybe the pool as well. we don't have much pool, to be honest. If you go to the machine and you have to see the pool here. So there's one thing I'm not sure about is the tags. Can I put a tags here or something? Because the tag could be something I want to have. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. These are all the specification we have for here. Maybe I will have some more here by size. Okay, so storage disk a bit worrying me, because when I actually create a VM, right? For example, if I go here and go to this Kira guys and add the virtual machine, there actually I can choose a storage. Okay, there's only one storage type, so I think that's good enough. I know I can add another storage just in case that I need to store something. For Docker, maybe a Docker will be storing this second block storage here. So you know, the first storage is for OS, the second storage for the application itself. So that's my plan, you know. So one thing I will do now is just commit the code, and then let me just plug in my okay, so now I can just go back here for a second, go to WordPress, go to one Terraform, log into my account using YubiKey, and then run the plan.sh. Yeah, I know why I need to create the workspace first before I do anything else. Okay, I need the variables and the main TFRs. That's fine. So you can think of a variable something like this. First of all, you want a fabric. And then you have the VM. So the WordPress, we have the VM host. For the dynamic block, I think it's a little bit more complex than that. I will try to make it simple. Okay, then we have this one. Then we have this one. Okay, so it's very simple, right? We just care about the network fabric, for this one you can think of something like this. So restart key, or anything that is string, I would just put it in something like this. Okay. For this one, interface, I think you can just go with the and then copy this one here. Okay, default pool. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, I need to charge my computer a bit. It's getting hot and getting a bit strange. I actually want to, lying down because I just have a 10 kilometer of running. So yeah, let me just move on a bit. So my today objective mostly trying to get at least some VM workings, and then maybe I can try to install Docker containers in it. So I have seen something very simple going. It's a lot better than having nothing working. So it's really important to keep things with efficiency. So the next thing I want to do is the variable, right? So the variable is all about the network first. Description. In mass class, so you can think of type, go to object, fabric, go to string, VLAN ID become just numbers, so that's string. So similar to default pool, I think. Type equal just string. Same with AZ. So this time will be a bit more complex. It will be a map instead. It's map, and then the map object. You have the whole thing of that. Numbers. You have a string, and you have a string here as well. Just like that. So I think that's pretty much fit for everything we have here. So nothing is going wrong. They already run some so the last thing you actually want to do is run some plan with it, right? So you actually run. So next thing, the dynamic block here. Okay, for the I just realized the provider here, they don't really give us about ability to give us ability to okay, they are so I actually need to clone this one. Okay, let me just give a shot. Okay. I have never think that I actually have to clone this one because it's just a bit weird to have a lot of things going on in one place. And go to the Terraform provider and run my command is exactly they actually want us to run. So yeah, I actually have to cd into this guy and so what I do is just go to Terraform, plus plants. Hopefully this time it will just work. So there's a network name. Okay, interesting that I actually need to go to Buddhist providers, but that's why I think that's how it's worked, right? So we actually had to I just go with the doc first and then I mean take a look at the example, that's fine. We have some resource here. We have the Famogene resource here. They don't even have to. They don't even use a network. That's interesting. Okay, is this a name? So the network name, right? It always be ETS 0 or something like that. Oh, wait, I can just go with the default. Yeah. Oh, this should be fine instead. So I will just ignore this one. Okay, so this is what they will create, right? So the only thing I want to fix is the dynamic block here. So look list in the block. So I think that's fine, right? You can just dynamic something here, and then what I need to replace in this specific content, is the only thing I want to add here is value. So first of all, this is a node, and for each, I think just to set the h.value.storage. Okay, and I don't know, man. I think let me think. Loop I think there's a way to do this to make sure you have correct way of installing things. Yes, size of list Terraform. I think you just call length. Okay, so maybe just length count storage, and you have count index, so you can just just slow down a bit. So you know what, let's just apply this one for now, because we have plenty of things to debug here. And you do want to install Docker where I can try with something like this. So we can have this one, and we have node dot no counter index. That's my idea, right? I don't know. I will see if this is actually working for us. Otherwise, we have to think twice about whether it is workable or not. So I do see it's coming up here, which is a good thing. So the only thing that I'm not very sure about is, you know what? Let's just waiting for this for a while and then. I will sleep around 11 because I need to take some nap, to be honest. I'm kind of tired. I'm tired now, guys. I need some sleep. The only thing that I'm thinking that I should do Yeah, this is will stuck around. So there's a new resource that I need to I can take advantage of the previous new resource I have in the OpenStack. So the older stack I use, I do the same thing, right? I try to not this OpenStack, the older OpenStack platform is actually in the kubesphere actually. Yeah, you can see here there's a Terraform here. So what I do is I have something called the kubesphere, and this kubesphere is actually trying to rendering our command line. But I think the better way to do this is using the load balancers here. So as you can see, let me just drag it here. Yeah. Okay, so we just focus in one of thing at one at first thing at one thing per time. So for the new resource, we can think of this guy, and let me just update the version.tf first. I can copy this new resource here, so we can copy one of them here, and put them right below the main.tf. This is basically I want to try. I try to install the the so this obviously depend on something called the depend on the VMs, right? So this KVM is all about I think about trigger for a second, but I'm thinking more about whether they have the private key and so on. So for the private key, you can think of the private key like it doesn't mention about a private key in here in this case. So you cannot expect much. There's one thing you can try to use is the default private key. So if I go to the root here, these are all the SS key I have. So I think I can just use a default SS key, the private key that I have. So for the user, I'm not very sure, to be honest. I would rather just log in using root. So maybe we can just define a variable first, and then we can define a new resource. For the installation, I think we can either give it a file, or we can just run sudo and install Docker. Yeah, either way is fine, right? As long as we is there a way to use Ansible along with Terraform? I think it's vice versa. I think so. You know what? Let's just install Docker. Okay, Ubuntu. So if I can just do something like this. Maybe I can just copy an config here. And what I do is to install Docker. Okay, just this. Okay, and then you can just run up.update app install. Same thing, just select the file here, and you can copy the whole thing here. and then just add here, add here again, continue. Okay, something like that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, right? So we can think of it like this. So in this case, I just just add so we basically we want to copy you're basically trying to copy the file from a specific path. So in this case, so path root, I think, yeah, path root is more like the way I would use most of the time to copy them. So I just finished the new resource here. The missing variable here probably you can think of is the variable of SSH connection for the host. Well, you know what? Let's just focus on the variable first, so we can think of this like this. So let me just go here. We have a username. First, obviously, you can root part of operator key. Will be this line here, which is my local machine, by the way, and well, yeah. So basically, just that. Now, if you think about the variable, right, you can think of sh type object with name string description will be session for yeah, I think add as details that's good enough. So I made like 10 to 20 commit per day, so that's fine. Trying to make my commit very small for good reasons. Why we're trying to make things as simple as possible for the host. You can think about the host like this. You can try to follow through the network interface we have. So let me just go back to the documentation really quick to take a look on the trigger. So the trigger will coming from so the trigger will be actually coming from the variable, actually, yeah. So if you go to the variable machine, right, I'm trying to have a combination of IP addresses here for okay, so we have something called vm spec dot IP addresses. That's the most important thing. So when I loop through of this guy, for each this detail, I actually just focus on each value dot IP addresses. That's it. I think that's good enough. I'm not sure what other thing I want to have here. Yeah, so I think I can close this down for now. I can work on second Terraform. Yeah, same thing. Add main.tf, version.tf, and you have the whole thing. Just so the version, that's fine. The Docker, that's fine. You have the main, It's going to fail anyways. I don't expect much. I don't think it's will success. I see kind of no hope in these guys. Anyway, let's just look at the WordPress Dockers. So we can think of the WordPress like a way to. I don't care about whether it's system Empire or not. I just WordPress as the default things I use most of the time. Maybe just use like this, and then the container will be just It's that simple, like. I have never tried remote Docker host, to be honest. Oh, there's a way to do this. Okay. That's interesting. I have never tried it, to be honest, but I do curious on how it works. So probably can just using SSH for this guy, and then we can. In this case, it will be the host, right? The provider. So this is all the provider we want to focus on. Um, my question is that how can I using HS key. So they don't really talk about the SS key, I think. Okay, it requires some agent. Anyway, guys, I think this is good enough. I don't have the machine running successfully. I might want to redeploy it. Let me just take a look again on the previous plan. So cow is not expected here. Interesting. Yeah, that's understandable, I think. So I think instead of doing this one, I can use for each h.value dot storage. So I think you can index.machine. Okay, hopefully when I wake up it will be fine. See you guys.